Hey everybody, well this is Seth Stavala. I'm here on the road in Alabama and I'm here to introduce
Auston, AO. AO works.
Yeah, AO? Nice, I like that.
Yeah.
So we're here to do an interview with America. It's like we like to talk about people and their stories on the road, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Awesome.
You want to go ahead and hold that and I'm
Sure.
going to ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Just kind of hold it like right in the middle for us
Yeah.
so we can both right like that. There
Okay.
we go.
Do you want me to go back and forth?
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah,
Cool.
you're conducting the interview, yeah.
I'll just be the operator.
Yeah,
You,
see?
you be the host.
It's like, he's professional, he's got a notebook, he's ready to go.
yeah.
It's like, all right, so how long have you been homeless right now?
I've been homeless. It'll be 200 days in 2 days, so 198 days.
109. Wow. So coming up on an anniversary here, huh?
Yeah, I guess you call it that. Yeah,
Yep.
double centennial.
Yep, there you go. And so you said that's just straight, but you've been homeless before that too?
Yeah, I've done bits weeks at a time. Just either sleeping in I call it just camping, but I'll be sleeping in my car in Los Angeles National Forest, or I've done it in Vegas for a second. But I've also had a lot of friends who've taken me in for a bit. A big reason I go just camping is because I don't want to be a burden on people too much. Because everyone has to change their plans if all of a sudden someone moves in.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's have you ever done any couch surfing like that? Have you ever heard of that app?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I just have trust issues with people and strangers, so I just prefer to minimize the amount of risk.
Yep. Plus, it is kind of nice to camp out in the woods and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I love nature for sure.
Mm-hmm. Same here. What's your story when you first became homeless, and how did it happen?
So I've been trying to just do everything on my own for the last couple of years. I basically took a chunk of money, went out. I left from California to Colorado, and then ever since I left there, I've just been financially struggling. That was in 2018. I moved out to Nashville after about 6 months in Colorado, and then I got a place right away, but I was still financially struggling, and every month I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make rent. And a big part of the reason why I struggled to go to work all the time was because I have a bunch of sports injuries, muscular injuries, and so working too much can cause my organs to inflame. And I was, just to be real, because I don't really like to talk about all the medical stuff, because it's it's just it's not that it personally offends me or anything. It's just that it can be graphic. Some people don't like to live in the real world.
So, what sport did you play?
Well, I played a bunch of different sports growing up, like football, basketball, baseball. The injuries came from falling out of trees as a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of that. But doctors would tell you to rest. And what I learned in college is that muscles, you have to actually repair them. And so they thought that I had Crohn's disease for a long time, but no genetic markers, and it was way more randomized with everything that was happening. And I figured out that it was because of my muscle pain. And so I've been developing my own kind of physical therapy. And the reason I'm homeless is because between body pain and not making enough money, I decided to not worry about maybe or maybe not being homeless every month, and just decide to just be homeless.
Yeah.
And just commit. And then that way when I get out of here, I know that my body's better, that I can work, and that I won't have to ever do this again.
Yep, there you go. All right. So right on, man. So speaking of how it's going right now, it's a balmy 27 degrees right now.
Yeah.
So how are you doing in your car and everything?
I'm good. I had some wonderful people give me some blankets. So I have a fuzzy blanket that I wrap up to stay comfortable. I got a thicker blanket that I wrap around that, and so I burrito up. I wear a beanie, and then it doesn't drop below zero, so really it's survivable temperatures.
Yep.
So
yeah, I know I'm kind of same in the van. It's you just kind of gotta bundle up a little bit. Yeah, throw on some long johns and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So it's not too bad. It's it's kind of not great but not bad. Yeah, it's survivable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you said you were currently working somewhere. Where are you currently working?
When I first told you about that, I was working as a fry cook. Now I'm working as a landscaper. Just because of management reasons. I get very frustrated with management who doesn't seem to care about their people. And so now I'm working as a landscaper though, which is nice because I like to work outside and everything.
Yeah, there you go. It's always good, and plus you got to get your body to move rather than just sitting at a computer all day or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like I prefer the same thing. I like working outside. It's like, especially when it's beautiful out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, what type of jobs have you worked before?
I've been a lifeguard. I've worked a lot in hospitality as a server. I've helped like manage a few restaurants or food service places. Like I've done prep work, worked in gyms. I've really hopped around a lot. Electrician's helper. I worked at Vaughn's for a bit. I worked at H&M for a bit. Some of those jobs I had to leave because of like the medical conditions that would occur. And if you get sick for too long, some places' policies are just, you're done.
Yep.
Like, that's it. And so there's no give.
Yeah, I was about to say, that must be kind of rough right now, especially with the COVID and everything.
Yeah, well, it was a bad COVID policy, and my lack of financial intelligence, I guess, like, is lost me a job as an electrician's helper, which I liked a lot. But I came in contact with someone who came in contact with someone, and they didn't quarantine, and the company didn't want to take the chance of shutting down a job site.
Yeah.
So I had to get off work for 2 weeks, which forced me to find another cooking job and leave that job. So it's just like one thing after another.
Yep. You said you're working on like doing like some physical therapy, and you were coming up with your own methods and everything. So is that what you want to do career-wise, or like want to go into more detail about that?
Yeah, absolutely. That has been my life's work. When I entered college, I was an engineering student. It was actually I entered college as a pre-med student, switched over to engineering just to kind of get that mindset. And I took a GE with Dr. Pete McCall, who's a world-renowned exercise physiologist. He explained to me that exercise science is engineering principles applied to biological phenomenon, like just that definition, and it blew my mind. I was like, oh, I'm a lifelong athlete. How come I can't engineer my own strength? Like, as a mechanical engineer, I understood that it was systems and processes and should be a lot more than just push yourself harder. Like, there should be some kind of organization. And so during this time, that was also when I was getting really sick with Crohn's disease-like symptoms, forced me to drop out of college several times. I did 6 years in college, 3.5 counted, and I was never on academic probation, never failed out. It was all because of medical stuff. Yeah. And so I got certified as a personal trainer. I got a bunch of different certifications over the years, but I realized like the systems that they taught me as a personal trainer weren't engineering systems. Like, there was a lot of just like, it just kind of works, or this is like a general direction. And I was being very particular with it being an engineering field. Like, I wanted it to exist. And so when I finally left college about 21 or 22 for like 6 months to go get this medically treated, because in high school I was bullied a lot for it. So I stopped telling people I was getting sicker, and I just hid. And it just got worse, surprisingly. But so I decided to try to figure out what was wrong with my body on my own. I was studying physiology and I was studying anatomy, and I really just went down to first principles, like why does tissue function? Why does it inflame? What happens if this happens to the body? How do the neurons interact with the muscles? Just trying to get really into detail with it. And that helped me create a new neuromuscular focused physical therapy that's beyond the corrective exercise specialty, which is like right now it's like one of the only certifications outside of doctorate in physical therapy that tries to do anything with physical therapy. And so it would be a model, I believe, superior to that. But it's been a long process. I've been working on that for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I've been suffering from these pains since I was like 14 and really 16 when it hit. So that's 12 years, 14 years. But that's the idea. Yeah. And I want to create a career in fitness, but with all the other problems I've noticed, like, why aren't those personal training certifications better? Like, why aren't they more clear on information? So if I want to create a new kind of information system, I have to improve on all these other systems as well. And so it's just been a long road in order for me to even explain like a new kind of physical therapy.
Yeah. So do you think you're going to be like opening up your own business to do that, or it's like, are you going to be going back to school to like get your degree in the physical therapy, or?
I will probably not go back to school to get a doctorate in physical therapy, just because that's a long road.
Yeah.
But I would probably go read their books, and maybe audit a few classes and work with people who are already physical therapists. It would kind of be the idea.
Yeah.
I want to create an information business based on education and marketing. So I'd re-educate trainers on better applications in physiology, and then I'd help market them at the same time, which is why I was getting all curious about, how do you got your setup? Because it's really cool.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea, is to help, if I can help other trainers understand how to repair injuries better, then maybe, like, it's kind of like a dumb thing, but it's like, if there's another kid out there like me, then you can fix it, we can stop it before it gets to like where I've gotten to. And all it takes is just the PE teachers to know what to do now, and not just be a free class. Like, we actually need some physical education. And now with COVID especially, like, there are exercise techniques that we can use to help prepare people's body for exactly this kind of inflammation, and they're not being addressed. It's like, and it's like the physiology is there, but just no one is putting together the systems. And so, I really want to make a business with it, and do this for the rest of my life, because it would just help people.
So it's like, that's kind of what you're working towards right now, is like, you're going to be putting like, your kind of stuff together, like, and then you're going to be like applying for a business then, or is it like you're still working towards kind of getting to that place yet?
I'm pretty much at the tail end of all my planning stages from this last 10 years. Right now I'm looking at creating like an online training platform. Like, 'cause there's some trainers who like, here's a 12-week program. So
that's a good idea right now, because like you can do a virtual, and then like that'll actually really be able to reach a lot of people.
Right. It's all trying to figure out the scalability versus time commitment, because if I promise you that I'll give you an hour a day, and I promise that to 100 people, that's a lot of hours. But if I promise you a program, and that way I'll check up on you like once a week or once a month on it, and just like make sure I get the right kind of questions and answers, then that saves me time. I'm not over promising anything, so it's that kind of business model that I have to really adhere to, because right now for fitness it's all about trying to make sales, getting whatever you say, whatever you want to make the sale, and then you have to figure out how to put it together afterwards. And I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to promise people, like, especially now if people are scared with COVID, I don't want to promise them that, hey, I can help you, and then not be there for them. That's terrible, you know. So
All right. So let's see, what do you like to do, like, when you're on the road? What do you like to do for fun?
I like to go hang out in parks like this. Like, I drive around a lot and go sightseeing. I grew up just going outside and like watching the wind blow on the trees and watching the birds fly. Like, so it's really relaxing just to be outside and like watch clouds move. Like, but other than that, I try to hang out with some people, like, but not too much, just because eventually they'll find out like, oh, I'm homeless, and they're like, oh, he's poor, and it's like, oh, well, like, people feel like I feel pitied, like, let me help pay for this, I'll buy your meal. And it's like, it's cool if it would be a friendly thing, like I could do the same thing back, but because of where it comes from, like, let me help you, you're in a bad spot, I'm like, I appreciate it, it's kindness, but at the same time it's like, I don't need it. Like, I'm still surviving, kind of thing. This whole idea for me starting this was survive on my own.
Like, have you traveled a lot in your life? And it's like, where's like the favorite place that you've been while you've been traveling?
Yeah, my dad's a pilot, so I've been to Italy, Costa Rica. I've been all across the country, Hawaii, West Virginia. I traveled to Iowa to go see a buddy. I've been to Vegas. This is the farthest south I've lived, and it's really beautiful. I don't know about the summers. The Rockies were beautiful, without a doubt. Like, big mountains and valleys are like my thing for sure. I've been back to the desert since I left, because I grew up in the Mojave Desert, and it's nostalgically beautiful to me. Like, I really enjoy it. Everywhere's got their own thing. Utah's so beautiful. I'd say the cornfields get a bit boring in the flyover states, but even then, like they still got nice trees and nice areas. Like,
that's the way I feel. Is the greener the state, I'm always happier.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
All right, so kind of a jack of all trades, kind of been all over the place. So
Yeah.
so what's something that you've always wanted to do?
Something I've always wanted to do. I want to say something that's stupid because it's Valentine's Day, like fall in love, but
That's not stupid, yeah.
yeah, that's something I've always wanted, but like there's just a whole bunch of craziness. I don't know, like if I had more money, I would obviously do more stuff, but I feel like I'm very free, so I get to do what I kind of want.
Okay, so do you have any like positive or funny stories that like you've like can share from about your time on the road?
Definitely a positive story is when I went out to Colorado. The first apartment I got into, these people were subletting it, and the guy I was living with was a Crip, like jumped in all that. He was a really cool dude, and he found out that we were being overcharged from the place. So we called him up, and they kicked us right the fuck out. Like they're like, get out of our apartment. This dude went to the place, was like, we've always paid our rent, get us a spot. They got us a spot. I said I couldn't put down my half of the rent. He covered it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he covered like $550, $600 to make sure I had a roof over my head.
Wow.
And it's like, by all numbers on the paper, this dude is like a bad guy, but he ain't.
Yeah.
Like he had nothing but love. Helped me out. Like I paid him back as soon as I could, but like, man, that dude, shout out to Jamal. He was a real good guy. We ended up getting in like a fight because some people were acting dumb, and like I stepped in front of him and like took a punch for him. So I was like, I felt like I repaid some stuff. But yeah, but that was like a real positive story. It was just like, cause above anything nothing about like where he's been or what he's done. He was just a guy and a guy, two strangers. He didn't owe me nothing. And he put money down to make sure that I had a roof over my head, and it's like I'll never forget that. This is real positive.
Nice, man. That's a great story.
Yeah.
It's like the same way. It's like, I understand what you're talking about. Like when I was backpacking, you never know. Like it's the people you don't expect at all are the ones that like are just come out of nowhere and help you out.
For real, yeah.
Yep. So it's like, all right, if we're coming kind of towards the end here, it's like, so if you could say anything to America right now, what would you say?
Oh, hell yeah. America. I have a huge problem with trusting people, and I need to get over that. We as a country are starting to not trust each other anymore, just Americans helping out Americans, and I think that we need to get over that too. I think that everyone's getting riled up and looking for a fight. We don't want it. Like, not really. Like, we got to figure out how to do that peace and love stuff again. Like, neither side I think no one is trying to be evil or nothing. And if people are, that there's more of us than them. Like, we don't need to fight with blood. We could fight with words. Get involved locally. If you want your parks cleaner, go pick them up. Then you don't have to pay taxes on park cleanup. I think it's time. It's like we the people, and this is our country, and we just take it into our own hands, not with a violent revolution, but with our own sweat and tears, and just try to leave out the blood, Yeah, that's what I've noticed is like I'll try to pick up parks when I go by them, and that's what we want to do. If you see someone on the street, and you want to give them a blanket, just give them a blanket or bring them some food. Like, even being homeless, like I've still thrown people on the street money. Like, we can make this world whatever we want it to be. And so if we choose love, I think more love will keep coming. And if we fight for love, then more love will keep coming. Yeah.
Wise words, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, Auston, man, it was great to meet you, and thank you for coming out and telling your
you.
story.
Yeah, I really appreciate you, man.
Yep, appreciate you.
Yeah.
This is The Outsider. I'll see you on the road.